right, good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Good.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Great.
Good, great. Anybody doing not so good? Everybody?
We're here. How could we not be good?
That's it? That's your measure of how you're doing? You're here?
No, I'm with you. How could I not be good?
I'm headed for my peak. I'm headed for my peak. How about you? You've been to the peak and back? So Paul says, therefore, we do not lose heart. But though our outer man is decaying, yet our inner man is being renewed day by day. Amen. For momentary light affliction is producing for us an eternal weight of glory, far beyond comparison. While we look not to those things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, for the things which are seen are temporal, and the things that are not seen are eternal. So what's he saying? Oh, I even have a whiteboard. This is awesome.
It's going to be glorious, especially as we keep our eyes fixed on Him.
So, this is great. Okay. So our lifeline, our physical lifeline goes how? Maybe not that steep. Our physical lifeline goes, and then, right? Somewhere here. You know, there have been studies done, and it's been found out that nobody gets out of here alive. Right? There's 0% chance of getting out of here alive. So this is your physical lifeline. Right now, you know, this may vary. So this is kind of the top there. So what age is that?
Well, what is the y-axis?
Well, this is going to be. Let's. That's the end. Yeah, that's it. That's the end. That's the end of your life. So, what? So for you, okay, what's this age?
Probably in 30s.
30s. Okay. Okay. Who else? How about you?
Is it physical prime?
Have you already
spiritual prime?
reached your physical peak? How, at what point you think you're going to reach your physical peak?
Well, some of the other guys in here might disagree with me. I'm 61.
So you're still going strong.
I'm still going
You're
strong.
still benching 250 pounds.
Not quite there.
Oh,
but
see,
I'm
okay,
working
so
on
you've
it.
already.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to bench press my weight. But I'm not
Okay, somebody else, your peak.
when I shoot my age in golf.
When you shoot your age in golf. Anyhow, so this is your physical peak. At some point, you know, Paul says you're going to be, right? The physical world is going to take over, right? But your spiritual, right?
And keep going.
Right now, when you get to heaven, wherever that is, right? Is that your peak?
Technically, isn't it a step function change?
I did that in statistics 2 times.
That's the gold standard.
Huh?
That's the gold standard.
So,
Well, you're measuring a peak by time, but if it's spiritual, it's eternal. So what is eternal when there's no time?
okay, so what I'm trying to get at. Were you here when I said, how's everybody
Oh,
doing?
I'm sorry.
Did you walk in late?
No.
So let me start over. How are you doing today? Great. Okay. So I told everybody I'm headed for my peak. And everybody's like, what? What? So, this is when you get to heaven. All right, so is that your peak? Right? Are you going to know everything? Right? You're going to be able to do everything? Right? So your peak transcends and it just keeps going. Right? Because we're not omnipotent. We're never going to know everything. So we're going to keep learning. Right? We're going to talk to those people that we've read about in the Bible. And guess what? We're all going to be there. Right? I'm going to see you. 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 I'm going to learn more about you. I'm going to learn more about you. So are we headed for our peak or what? Right? So people say, how you doing? I am.
Right. Headed for my peak.
You got the gold watch. Okay, headed for our peak. All right, so what I'm going to talk. This is a technique I used in the Marine Corps. It's a leadership mentoring technique. So I've given you goal sheets, and this is a real simple process. So, what are your goals? All right? Does anybody have any goals in here? This is a class participation event. Okay? Somebody give me one of their goals. Yes.
Business startup.
Okay, start up a business. Some people call their goals a bucket list, right? But we're talking about goals, and who currently, be honest now, who currently has a goals list that they're working on, they update, they achieve, they cross it out, they put another one on there. That's that kind of personal process. Okay. Don't everybody put their hand up at the same time. Okay, you do. Okay. He's going to take the gold watch from you.
He deserves it.
So only 3%, statistics show that only 3% of the people in the United States actually take time, put their goals down, have a process, right, where they put down what they want to be, what they want to have, what they want to do, and then, track through it. And it just so happens those 3% are some of the most successful in the country, depending on how you gauge success. So anyhow, how many people are business people? Have a business? How many people are leaders in that business at some form? Squad, platoon, regiment, whatever. Is there anybody that does not have anybody working for them? So everybody at some point. So you were a Army of one. Okay. Does he work for you?
I have one employee that-
One employee and she's for council mission. So, what are your goals? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to have? So this is a worksheet, and I'm going to tell you about it, and then I'm going to talk about leadership. First, we're going to talk about you, and then we're going to talk about using this tool as a leadership tool. So the first step is write down all the things you want to be, all the things you want to do, all the things you want to have.
But isn't it more important, what is it that God wants us to do?
You want to teach a class?
Just asking questions.
Okay, if you look at the sheet,
That was
So-
his goal.
so God does not say don't make plans, does he? Does he? He doesn't say don't make plans. So I got 2 Bible verses right on there, right? In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. And the mind of a man plans his way, but what?
The Lord directs.
Lord directs his step. There's a couple other ones. Commit your works to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Right? The mind of a man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. So it doesn't say don't plan. Right? But I just want to talk about the process first. If that's okay, if I can have your permission. That's fine. So first, what you want to do is take some time. You can do it on a computer. You can make a list. You can run a dialogue, right? All all the things you want to be, you want to do, you want to have. That's the first step. Take some quiet time, no interruptions. Okay. Once you have that done, then just let it sit for a little bit. Right? Then just kind of let it ruminate. Sleep on it. Step 2 is you go back and make sure everything's been included. That's a very personal thing, right? No 2 goals sheets or no 2 goals plans are going to be the same, right? This is like fingerprints. There may be similarities, but none of them are going to be totally the same. So step 2 is you go back and review and make sure everything's on there. You may have forgotten something. Oh yeah, I wanted to do this, or oh yeah, I wanted to start this. Very, very seldom do I see people take stuff off. I really didn't mean that. Okay, so that's step 2. Then step 3, select the top 3, we'll say 3 professional goals and the top 3 personal goals. So you're going to go down through, figure out what are the most important, top 3 professional, top 3 personal. And then the next step is to put the steps under one of those 3. What are the steps that you need to take to achieve that goal? Pretty simple, right? And then beside each, right, you're going to write the date that you want to achieve it. So if you write the date for each one of those steps, it goes up to the goal. Put when you want to achieve that goal, and then back plan on those steps. When do you need to have those steps achieved to realize your goal? Everybody tracking? Any questions? And then the last step is what? Take action. Take action. And then this is not something that you do and put in your bottom desk drawer and then forget about it. You're laying out a blueprint, so to speak, for what? Your life. Now you can go out as far as you feel comfortable. But this should be the thing you're kind of constantly updating. Or at least periodically you're pulling out, okay, how am I doing? How am I doing my goals? Right? Some of them will become overcome by events. You will have done nothing and they will have been achieved. Right? Or you look at a goal and you go, I don't want to do that anymore. Which is all fine. So it's yours. It's yours, your goals. Now, but you need to be in consultation with God, right? Because it's not about you, it's about God. So how do your goals, how is what you're going to be, what you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have, how does that fit into God's divine plan as you coordinate your life with His plan? Right? So now you may have your plan, you may do your goal sheet, it may lay out, you may plan up through when you retire or even beyond. Right? Just remember, that's your plan. God may take you on a couple detours on that plan, and He may have a different plan. But He doesn't say don't plan. If you don't have a plan, what happens to your goals? Who influences your goals?
Somebody else.
Somebody else does. More specifically, who? Well, the environment does. More specifically, who?
The devil.
Satan. The devil will. Right? He'll keep you busy doing something else. Right? He'll fill your mailbox with so many catalogs and so many that you're going through this stuff. You go, oh wow, I didn't even know that existed, but I got to have one of those. Right? He'll run you so far in debt because of things that you want to buy and you want to have, right? That you won't even be able to focus on meditation, prayer, or the Bible. So you got to do this in concert with God. God does want you to plan, right? But you got to do it with Him. Okay, so that's kind of your part. So now we're going to talk about how you can use the goal sheet for others. All right, so now when I was a younger Marine, I'd watch, and that's the reason I asked about business folks and who you have working for you. I'd watch, let's say, a sergeant counseling a Lance Corporal, right? And Lance Corporal comes in, and the sergeant's there, and he pulls out the guy's record book and goes, and they're supposed to counsel him every 30 days. So pulls it out and says, well, let's see, you haven't fallen out of any runs, you haven't dropped out of any hikes, you haven't gotten in trouble, and you seem to be doing pretty good. So keep up the good work, and I'll see you in 30 days. Right? Now, who's been in the military? Right? Is that how it happens?
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, you've been in the Marine Corps. So, you know, and the Marine Corps was even supposed to have a mentoring program, right? Who was your mentor?
Major Fultz.
Okay. So at least you had one. How much time did you spend
Oh,
with
he
him?
was great.
Yeah. So some were very, very good, but you can take an example off of this guy. So he's got a positive example. I'm kind of saying, well, okay. And then, and it was by your chain of command, right? So by your unit's organization. So anyhow, I thought, okay, we gotta come up with something better than that. And unbeknownst to me, kind of really opened up what I think is a good process. So you're a supervisor at some level, and you bring in someone that you want to mentor, okay, that you want to run the goal sheet. So you're sitting there with them, and you say, okay, same steps. You know, what would you like to be? What would you like to do? What would you like to have? Right? And give them to that. So usually give them a little bit of time, and then come back a week or two later, and you sit down with them. You're the supervisor. You're the leader, right? So you sit there, and you go, okay, tell me about your goal sheet. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Well, first off, that's quite the revelation, right? Because how often does that happen? How often does a leader sit down with someone with some specific time, right, and show that kind of care that I'm interested in you. I'm interested in what you want to do, what you want to be, and what you want to have. And not only that, I'm interested in your professional goals. And if I'm your supervisor, of course I'm interested in your professional goals. Or one would hope that I'm interested in your professional goals. But guess what? I am interested in your personal goals because they're all interrelated. Whoa. So what happens? This individual goes, well, this is certainly different. And then starts sharing those, right? And then there's kind of a back and forth conversation. And then some loyalty starts developing because probably, I'd say, very few people have ever sat down, if any, and shown that level of concern and care, right? So you just go through this process, right? So they develop loyalty to you, you find out more about them, and if you can help them in any way, heck, you're the supervisor, right? Those are just pure bonus points. And then this goes on, this back and forth takes place as you go through the various steps. And then, then you just don't take this goal sheet and throw it in the bottom desk drawer, right? You plan to have that individual come back and find out how they're doing with their goals, right? So kind of a simple, so what goals do most Marines have? What do they want to do?
Max out the PFT.
Bingo! They want to max the physical fitness test. Okay? Look at that. That was totally uncoordinated. So what happens? One of the goals, you want to max the physical fitness test, right? So to max a physical fitness test, you have to do 20 pull-ups, dead hang pull-ups. Now I guess it's, I don't know, anyhow, it was 100 crunches in 2 minutes and a 3-mile run in 18 minutes. Pretty robust, huh? anyhow, so that's the goal, because Marines are stuff like that. Anyhow. So, you see that on there, and you say, well, what's your time now? How many pull-ups can you do? Whatever. And they tell you, so what's the best way? If you want to be successful, right, you imitate somebody that's successful. So you hook them up with somebody that already runs a max physical fitness test and have them mentor them so that they learn how to run faster, learn how to do more pull-ups, learn how to do the crunches or do crunches faster, and voila, boom. There you have it, right? So you go down these, and if you can help with any of them, I know I've helped with some Marines with off-duty education, give them, okay, when's your off-duty education? Well, it's Thursday nights. Okay, we will block Thursday nights for you, right? But of course, once a month, we're going to be duty on Saturday. But you do that for them, and they're appreciative to have duty on Saturday if they that helps them get their degree. So you can see this loyalty builds up, right? And then what happens? Well, they start achieving their goals. Okay? And, certainly you can have that discussion about Christ. You can have that discussion about God's divine plan, the works that God created in advance for us to do, the good works, and how all that relates, right? And it does, right? Because again, we said this is God's plan for your life. It's God's plan for their life. So they start achieving their goals. And then what happens? Who's got a relatively large organization? Who's got 50,000 people? How big's your organization?
Oh, I'm 7 orders of magnitude smaller than that.
10?
Say, depending on context, say 50.
50? Yeah. Okay. So, and how's your organization broken down?
Elders and people.
Okay.
So think about it in like a church context.
Okay. All right. So however your organization is, right, you have certain direct reports, right? You know what I'm talking about, direct reports? So those direct reports are talking to them. So all these people are reaching their goals, maybe different levels, different speeds, whatever, but they're achieving their goals, and they're kind of committed to it because someone's going to be checking on them and asking them about it, right? And who's been in the Navy here? Okay. All boats rise on the weights. All boats rise on the rising tide. All boats rise on the rising tide. You understand that? Do I need to explain that to you? Tide comes up. All the boats that were at this level are now at this level. Okay? So your business, your organization, all boats rise on the rising tide. Everybody's achieving their goals. Isn't that great? Right? And that spirit that's in that organization of helping each other with their goals because the supervisors are interested in that. Right? So can you see the merit to the goal sheet? So, questions? Questions?
General, there's a saying that if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So, what would you think is a sweet spot for the goals, for the goal setting?
Well, first off, it could be one priority, it could be 5 priorities, but you're helping folks set. You're asking for the top 3, right? So then when those top 3 are satisfied, then you cross one off and number 4 slips up, right? Generally, each individual's gonna have to manage their own, and there may be pop-ups, Life gives you pop-ups, right? If you have something happen, whatever, parent gets sick, child gets sick, boom, that's suddenly a priority. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more. So that's the core structure. Okay? Now, your people, right, all have roles. All have roles, right? Because you are all, what? Sons and daughters? Anybody not a son or daughter? So what is your role? What are your goals for your role as a son or daughter? Right? You want that relationship to be better? Is it as good as it can be? Okay? Brothers and sisters, what are your roles with your siblings? And what are your goals with your siblings? Okay? Parents, role as a parent. Right? What are your goals for your kids? And if they're, if I know a lot of us have kids that are out and on their own, what are your goals for that relationship with your sons or daughters, right? Their spouses, grandkids. It goes on and on and on, right? What is your role as a Christian? What is your goal as a Christian? What's your goal as a Christian?
Glorify God.
Okay, good. What else? Goal as a Christian.
Share Jesus.
All right.
Make the same.
Make disciples. What else? Okay, share the good news. What else?
Be obedient.
Obedience. God's love language. What else? Forgiveness.
Look more like Christ.
Look more like Christ. We are headed for our peak. Right? Doesn't that include all that? Headed for our peak. Christian maturity. Christian maturity means glorification of God. It means loving Jesus. It means selflessness, crucified life, humility. All of that. Okay? So your role as a Christian. What other roles do you have? Right? If you're an employer, like we talked about, that's a role. What's your role as an employer? Employee, what's your role? So you expand on the whole thing. So not only what are your goals, what do you want to be, what do you want to have, but it's another way of looking at it, another dimension, what are your roles? And then you can look at it a couple different ways, right? However you want to look out. You may only want to look out 5 years at a time, 5 years, 10 years, 15. But at some point, you want to go out there a ways, like, when you're going to retire, when you're 50, 60, 70, and look back. What do I want to have achieved? What do I want to have achieved? Yes.
So, I'm, in thinking about this, I don't have a list, but if I put down the things that I want to do this. I want to be CEO by the time I'm 55. I want to do this.
Yeah.
What would it look like if we were to not put anything on our list that we want? We go to the people we care about and ask them, what do you want me to put on my list so I can help you accomplish your goal?
I would do the people you trust.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a great idea.
You can trust your wife, your kids.
That's a great idea.
Teenagers.
But and that's spouses can do it together, right? You can do it together as a family. I mean, still, I think each individual does their own. If nothing else, to just kind of get through the process. But then, that'd be great. Show your goal sheet to your your pastor, your minister, and say, hey, okay, explain it to them and say, what, how can I be a better disciple?
Put one on here for you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you can look at those kind of folks, and that's a great point. I hadn't thought of that before, but have other people input to your goal sheet. Yes, sir.
So I get steps 1 through 5 pretty easily. I'm thinking about my kids. I have 2 teenage boys, 16, 17, that have never really had goals and aspirations in life. But when I think about step 6, as far as calibrating and taking action, what do you suggest as far as kind of, for especially for like people that have never had goals before,
Right.
to this level, I
Well,
guess?
how old are they?
16 and 17.
16 and 17. I can get that fixed real quick.
Push-ups.
Right, give me your number and I'll have the Marine recruiter come over your house. That's good. I mean, it's good to have the Marine Corps do some initial goal setting for young men and women. So this is
And I say that from the standpoint of they do a lot of things right now
right.
to just not get into trouble, right? They do well in school.
Yeah.
They watch their mouth.
Right.
You know, we tell them, hey, you can watch TV for this long or play video games, whatever. But it's to avoid punishment to some degree. Kind of like the Marine Corps.
Yeah. a lot like the Marine Corps. So, this is, in my units, this was not, okay, everybody's going to do a goal sheet, right? It was encouraged. It was encouraged. And that's what you need to do. You need to, what do they want to do? He's 17, what's he, senior in high school?
About to be, yeah.
Okay, so what's he like? What's he want to do? What are his gifts, right? So, you need to sit down. You don't have to throw a goal sheet in front of them, right? But you can still get the same information and start helping them formulate what they want to do, what they want to be, what they want to have, right? And of course, coming out of high school, even before they want a car, so write that one on there real quick. So, you see, does that make sense?
It does.
So, it's not, though, another aspect of this. Who does any counseling? That's it? Counseling? So, in all the services, there's times where we have to impose discipline. There's a whole process for that. It's a legal process. So I'd have the Marine's record book laying there, had what was called his page 11, which had his offenses on it. I'd have his chain of command standing there. And then I could take his rank. I could fine him, take his pay, and I could restrict him, take his time. Kind of 3 important things, right? Take his status, right? Take his pay, take his time. On top of that book, whenever I'd have Marines come into me, and I did this as a company commander, a battalion commander, a regimental commander. I did this as a captain, the whole way up through 3-star general. Though I don't think I ran many NJPs as a 3-star general. I'd have a goal sheet, that Marine's goal sheet, laying on top of his record book. And that's the first thing we talked about. Because why? Because why? Because no individual, right, and you can apply this to the civilian world, no individual will put on their goal sheet that I want to become a meth addict. I want to get a DUI and stand in front of the regimental commander and get NJP and get busted from sergeant. That in 3 weeks I want to take my own life. Right? Those aren't on that goal sheet. Why? Because those aren't goals. Right? What happens is those people sabotage their own success somehow, some way. Right? And it's our job to get them back on track. So conceivably, in your counseling and working with people, you could use a goal sheet that way also. It's nothing but a medium, a tool for a discussion and to help people think through what they don't normally think through. Right? Does anybody have a written goal sheet right now? Whoa, okay. I don't mean a grocery list. So that's good. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, I like what you just said, because you asked about mentors, and in some cases, the person giving counseling or something can turn into the best mentor, in that way.
So, and as a disciple, when we're, working with people, can you see the value of a goal sheet? I mean, you could probably see the value a lot. And, I've had Marines go, whoa, my dad's in business. And I showed him the goal sheet. He'd like to be able to use it. Go ahead and use it. I mean, it's just people caring, kind of selflessly caring about people. Because does this take time? Right? How much time over my career do you think I spent sitting in front of a goal sheet? Right? And what? I mean, you got to connect. You got to listen. And have that discussion. Find out about their wife, their kids. I mean, you're digging deep into their aspirations. And 2 infantry Marines want to be astronauts. You got to be kidding me. They're not even pilots. But that was their goal. Leaders must either invest a reasonable amount of time attending to fears and feelings. There you go. Leaders must either invest a reasonable amount of time attending to fears and feelings. Or squander an unreasonable amount of time trying to manage ineffective and unproductive behavior. You just walk around with that? That's great. Let me take a picture of that later. Where'd you get that?
I got that from, Dare to Lead.
Okay. How much time do I have? 5 minutes. Okay. Yes, sir.
I was going to mention on the goals, I was thinking of the personal fitness test. 3 things that come to mind. One is dedicating that goal to somebody other than maybe yourself. Taking that goal and breaking it down into daily tasks that will accomplish that goal, weekly tasks that will accomplish that goal. Have those be measurable, and then have accountability to someone outside of you if you're not meeting those daily tasks or those weekly goals. Because those will help you attain your goal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I intentionally tried to keep it simple. Number one, simple to understand, right? And then however people, now my goal
But
is
simply to have a goal, I think of that almost like a lot of people will have a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't share it with anybody. They don't break it down into what it's going to take to make that personal fitness test. It's just a thought. It's just a goal, and 2 weeks later, it's gone.
Well, then they're actually not even getting to step 6.
No.
Right? So, anyhow, any other questions?
I would go deeper too with if it's your direct report, I would want to know why that's their goal, because a lot of times somebody's going to answer to you what they think you want them to say. So knowing the why behind it is really going to
That's all part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Right? However you want to lead the discussion, that's why, it's not, totally specific. That's someone, okay, so what do you want to be? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Well, I want to take your job. Okay, we're done.
Because that means I'm taking another job, a better job.
Yes.
I'm just curious with all the goals you set for people, what's the most memorable or creative goal that someone set for you?
Okay. I'd have to think a while for the most memorable. But I have had quite a few enlisted folks become officers. Now, so I used to be enlisted. Came in when I was 17, I was a sergeant, got out, went to college on a GI Bill. Marines talked me into coming back in once I got my, once I graduated. I would have never done that had not someone told me they thought that I had the potential. I don't know what I would have done, but I would have never even tried it, except I had a lieutenant colonel say, you ought to think about being an officer. Matter of fact, I ordered you to become an officer. Right? And I do the same for warrant officers, right? I tell warrant officers, when you see someone who you think has the potential, so that applies to everything, not just, right? If you see someone that's got potential, if you see someone that has a gift, you see someone that has ability, right? They're looking at stuff from the inside, right? But if you see it from the outside and put it in a better context for them, then, I mean, you can help them actually become more than they ever thought they would be, right? I'm lucky I ever made sergeant. I'm lucky I ever made major. Everything after that was pure gravy. I don't even know how it happened. Well, I do know. Absolutely the grace of God. Absolutely the grace of God. I can see where God was in my career many, many times. All the time. What else? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. They used to talk about, I know in government, they talk about, we don't, they say they use goals as the establishment rather than quotas. And then they would fall back and say, because we don't have to meet the goals. So that was their rationale for determining whether or not they had quotas or goals. Is there a rational reason why you establish a goal and say, and then fall back and say, well, we don't have to meet it?
I don't know. Is this like a government question?
You, sir, you know, when I was in the Pentagon, you were up there
How
talking.
much time did you do the Pentagon?
I was there for 2 years.
2 years?
Yes, sir.
Max, I did 14 months. You know more than I do. Any other questions? I mean, this is, you can see the purpose of the goals sheet. I don't think it would be as palatable if I said, okay, this is a quota sheet. So, yeah, quotas, something kind of totally different. Yes, sir.
I'd like to say something about the 6 categories, and that you and I talked about the 7th category, and that's the spiritual category. We need I think you and I both agree that there's a definite need for a goal in that bucket too. But these folks may have not heard about the other 6, as you and I have talked about, and that's the family, interpersonal, health, education, recreation, and finally spiritual. I'd like to always, my goal sheet has 7 categories. And I know if you'll allow me the permission to tell your story in just a moment, the general's father was a Navy chaplain. And I don't want you to choke it up, but I know you
He was a
have.
Marine first.
Yes, sir. He was a Marine first, amen. But he got out of the Navy, went to seminary and came back as a chaplain, and then was asked to be assigned to
So he was a Marine during World War II. He was wounded in the Battle of Okinawa. His entire squad got killed except for him. He was at Shuri Castle, Sugarloaf, right? One of the most intense battles ever in the history of the war. His entire squad got killed. He got wounded. He got discharged. He went to school on the GI Bill, went to college on the GI Bill, and it just so happened he had a seminary at the college. So he went to seminary. Became a civilian minister in Pennsylvania for 17 years. He decided he wanted to get back with the Marines. So he joins the Navy. He's 42 years old. The Navy provides the chaplains for the Marine Corps. We don't have our own. 42 years old, he joins the Navy as a chaplain. When he's 44, 2 years later, he's going to Vietnam, 68, 69. He's with 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, running fire breaks and bridges and everything. Anyhow, he's absolutely one of my heroes. He does 22 years in the Navy, retires as a commander in the Navy Chaplain Corps. So, anyhow. All right, time's up. Thank you very much.